Guns of Humanity excerpt from a guest lecture on interspecies relations, 5477 94.08, Galactic Standard Time Sandraxus 3rd, Alliance War College Kithid Warcast, Commander First Class, Aether Mellick. Greetings, cadets, and thank you for inviting me to talk in your most esteemed war college. As those of you who took time to read the syllabus know, I have been on assignment to study the human method of war as part of the Galactic Alliance Military Exchange Program. I hope what you learn here will be helpful in understanding the newest member race in the Alliance. The first thing to understanding the human way of fighting is to understand the human's primary infantry weapon, the gun. While all races poses portable, ranged weaponry of some sort, most are like ours, based on projecting electromagnetic energy. The few races who utilize kinetic weapons make use of long acceleration rails, low-velocity acidic heat projectiles, or bidirectional kinetic energy release. Humans are unique in their apparent disdain for the laws of physical motion that they would absorb lethal quantities of kinetic energy into their bodies as a means of harming their foes. The gun is a partially enclosed metal cylinder humans hold close to their body. A small explosive charge is detonated inside the cylinder in order to accelerate a high-density projectile. As a side effect, the gun is slammed back into the operator's body with a force sufficient to crack the exoskeleton of a Yadin war drone. The guide I was assigned to called this recoil and took great pains to explain the proper way of compensate for it when firing on full auto. A term I was later to find out involves suffering several dozen recoils over a time span of seconds. It is a testament to the human's resilient nature that they would subject their bodies to such punishment for the purpose of waging war. In addition to the physical damage of absorbing the gun's recoil, these heinous devices emit a noise like that of a lightning bolt striking the ground. To be in close proximity to such a noise is extremely disorienting, and I found myself unable to walk straight for several minutes after the weapons demonstration. Yet I saw several human cadets conduct feats of incredibly dexterity while discharging their guns or having louder explosions occur in close proximity. I can only conclude that either humans sense orientation by different means than we do, or they just don't care. When I inquired why the humans have not made use of the quicker, more efficient ranged weapons provided by the Galactic Alliance Technology Exchange, my guide muttered something about reliability and how they did not complement existing human military doctrines. This brings me to the core of human warfare doctrine, the aptly named shock and awe. To human military planners, it is not enough to kill your foes, drive them off an objective, or force them to surrender. The human guide stressed the importance of breaking their enemy's will to fight. Human history is filled with examples of captured soldiers rejoining the war, occupied populations overthrowing their conquerors, and routed soldiers rallying to turn the tide of battle. To compensate, human military technology evolved to be louder and more traumatic than anything our galactic peers have yet devised. Even from a safe lookout point many miles away from a live fire exercise, I could hear the scream of their supersonic aircraft, the dull thud of their artillery, and the ever-present crackle of gunfire. To be in the middle of such a cacophony must be the closest a living being can experience to the Kithid religious equivalent to hell. You may wonder then how the human infantry, whose job it is to create this dreadful spectacle, emerge with their sanity intact. First off, they are incredibly resilient as a species. They would have to be to choose these guns as their primary implement for waging war. Humans, males through quirk of evolution, publicly seek out activities that are dangerous, violent, and/or painful as a way of proving their suitability as mates. As for human females, the process of gestating and extruding a single new human puts such stresses on their body, there is a statistically significant chance they will be killed in the process. It is said that the default human condition is one of suffering. Rather than take steps to lessen the trauma, humans have openly embraced it. Culturally, their media glorifies aggressiveness, stubbornness, and self-sacrifice above all else. Even if a human soldier is killed before they have a chance to mate, they gain a sort of spiritual immortality through endless retellings of their story. Those that were first-hand witnesses are often viewed as desirable mates. Should the human survive an ordeal that by all rights should have ended their terrifyingly resilient life, they gain an almost premium mating status. On top of human media's factual record-keeping, their strange minds fabricate fictional accounts of unstoppable monsters and invisible predators. The perverse creativity of human horror movies spawn imaginary foes that are far in excess of what the known universe has ever have created. Yet humans seem to enjoy these spectacles as a form of entertainment. By the time a human is of age to volunteer for military service, their mind has already been exposed to the hopelessness of fighting something stronger than them and the fear of being hunted by something crueler than them. I must also point out that the human military is an all-volunteer force. Each and every human soldier has chosen a life where their training would be considered an illegal form of torture by the Galactic Alliance if inflicted on unwilling criminals. Each one is looking to perform deeds of such stupefying bravery that they will outshine the heroes of their own terrifying mythology. To see humanity make war is to see the universe at its most violent and hateful. Their civilians are not much better than their military counterparts. Their colonists aggressively seek out worlds with hostile environment and native life forms. They delight in bending an ecosystem to their will. Humans glorify the first to accomplish a feat, no matter how pointless or self-destructive. They will walk across the polar wastes for the privilege of being the first to plant a flag at the top or bottom of a planet. They will capture the most ferocious of predators to be the first to ride one. They will endure suffering and death beyond what any rational mind would consider healthy, just to be remembered. My advice to you young cadets is to utilize our human allies for tasks that require the least amount of subtlety and where collateral damage is most acceptable. Assaults on fortified positions, mountain-jungle warfare, and capital ship boarding operations are the best places to utilize the human's shock and awe method of fighting. Do not employ humans in urban warfare unless the urban population is also human. The post-liberation suicide rate never makes for good press. Should you find yourself in opposition to a human force, the best option is to wait for friendly human reinforcements. Humanity has a long history of intraspecies violence. Ultimately, they are best trained and adapted to deal with their own kind. If no friendly human relief forces are available, it is best to engage humans from sturdy vehicles, preferably an upper atmosphere of orbit. Under no circumstances should you or soldiers under your command engage at the infantry level against human soldiers or criminal elements. It is better to surrender than endure the trauma of a shock and awe style assault. When dealing with survivors of a shock and awe assault, sedate them immediately and place them on suicide watch for the next 5 solar cycles. To do less would be criminally negligent. Most importantly, never accept an invitation to fire a gun or participate in a joint assault with human forces. It may be seen as impolite to our allies, but our species are neither psychologically nor physiologically prepared for that sort of trauma. The human's method of war is thankfully unique in the known universe, and we should be forever grateful that they have chosen to employ it for our benefit rather than our conquest.